productive individuals, leaders of their household one day, positive role modeling. I don't know if you ever heard of the Dan Kine Academy, but like 7, 8 years ago, I moved to Colorado. I was coaching high school ball, and I had 3 players on my high school team that I was assistant coach of, and they were from South Sudan. And I don't know how familiar you are with South Sudan, but their story is a really heart-wrenching story of a nation of brothers, basically. Nubians, real like Nubians from the old ancient days of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought for their independence, started their own nation in South Sudan, Vernon, but then guess what? Once they got their own nation, everybody wanted to be the ruler. So they ended up having another war where one side starved out another side. So now a lot of South Sudanese are spread all over parts of East Africa, all the way in the United States here, Colorado, especially Nebraska. And I was trying to find a way to connect more with these kids. So I was on YouTube and I found this academy called the Dan Kine Academy. And there was a young man that founded the academy. In a way, he might be international Vernon Carr Jr. So the guy's name is Daniel Pierce Hogan. And he had a dream. Him and Luol Deng kind of had a dream to help out South Sudanese youth. Basketball was the tool to put them on the platform. But then from there, it was about getting them in schools with quality education, teaching them life skills. And now I'm going to have him on the show tomorrow. It's going to be 5 p.m. here, but like midnight in his side of the world. But I'm very encouraged, seeing guys like you, guys like him, where there are some guys that's looking to do something with the youth. So I really appreciate you being on the show.
Oh, well, I appreciate you having me on the show. And then I would definitely tune in, to listen to what they have to say and just gain a different perspective because, you look at what you have going on in your own life, but you don't always know what's going on in other people's life. And also who look like you. They look just like you, but you don't know what's going on. So that's a great opportunity for people to tune in to see that even though he's on the other side of the world, we kind of all have the same issues. And how can we learn from each other? How can we grow from each other? And how can we teach each other?
Yes, and that's all facts. Ever since I started Youth Sports Podcast, I did a virtual webinar, and I was giving out a little bit of information about like college in the United States to some young African ball players. And ever since I did that event, I get a lot of DMs from young ball players in Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan, even my native homeland in Ghana, even though I've never been back since the mid-'80s. And I get a kid that's 7'1", 17 years old, for example, and he's stuck out in the middle of Nairobi, Kenya. He's from South Sudan, but he's in Kenya because he has nowhere else to be. And he's like, how do I get to a high school, in the United States? And I'm like, where in the United States, young man? Like, United States is a large country,
Yeah.
How's your grades? What grade are you in? So, and then, once we had a conversation, I try to let him know that you have other plans besides basketball. It's nice you're 7 feet with a 7'6" wingspan and all, but basketball is probably going to be a small part of your life.
Yeah.
What are you working on as far as school? What are your favorite subjects? Conversations like that is what I'm hoping that some of our young leaders are having with our future generations.
Yeah. And, again, that's everything that you just said. No matter how great of a basketball player you are, you look up, you may be done at 36, 37.
If you're lucky.
So, yeah, if you're lucky. And somebody who's 7 feet, he may go a little bit longer. He may have that Robert Parrish career where he
20 years.
Yeah. but you still got a lot of life to live, so those are always great conversation to have with kids and try to point them in the right direction. And I try to do the best that I can and working with them and letting them dig into my life and ask me questions, and we just kind of go forward from there.
Yeah. I'm not sure how familiar you are with NBA TV or even the Shaq and the Fool segment that Shaquille O'Neal has. Have you ever watched Shaq and the Fool before?
That question you just asked, I would imagine if my wife was here and hearing this, she would laugh out loud because I watch NBA TV on a regular
Oh,
basis. Yeah.
no. Now, you're probably wondering where I'm going with this, but it's going to tie into your last sentence. So, Ro Parrish is a co-host on Shaq and the Fool, and I didn't find out that he won an Emmy Award and everything. That he was the Dallas Mavericks DJ before he got the gig with on Shaq and the Fool. But I asked him on the show. It's like only Friday night he was on the show. I was like, you get a lot of questions about about sports and working with athletes, but for the young people, to kind of get their mind thinking beyond just strictly sports, what other interests did you have growing up? And then I flipped it around. I was like, matter of fact, Ro, 500 years ago, if you lived 500 years ago, what would have been your profession or career? Because when I was in the Marine Corps, a lot of us used to have like campfire storytelling, and we wanted to kind of take our minds beyond training to kill every day or training for war. Like we had other skills, other talents, and we have a campfire, and oftentimes, I say I want to be Mansa Musa. They'll be like, who is Mansa Musa? I'm like, Mansa Musa was an African emperor. He was one of the richest men that ever lived. Some sources say he's the richest man that ever lived. Go ahead.
Yeah. Numero uno. Yes. I know exactly who Mansa Musa is. Yes.
Okay. So people like, who's Mansa Musa? Yep. So Vernon, if you was a time travel, who would Vernon Carr Jr. have been 400 or 500 years ago?
I would say my dream job before, well, even during basketball and playing in the NBA, it was to be the crocodile hunter.
Okay, adventure.
So I would say if we go back 400 or 500 years ago, that something similar to that would be my dream job. I've always been into animals. I'm big on the Discovery Channel. Always wanted to. That I would say that would be my first realistic, maybe non-realistic. I don't know how to explain that, but that would be like a dream job outside of basketball. Was just to go and explore and learn about different animals.
Okay, and you'd have probably had your own business. Maybe you would have put out Gator shoes before Gator shoes. Had to keep with Detroit theme on
one thing I would always say is I watched the show on the Discovery Channel. Can't remember the name of the show. It was years ago. The person who was the main character outside of the animals, he was inside of a box. It's like a glass box, and the animals would come up to. So I would always say, I want to be with the animals, but I don't want to be with the animals.
Okay.
I would rather be in that glass shield in that box, and then just sitting there as they come around the glass box, and then I can be able to talk.
Oh, you don't want to be part of the ecosystem of food chain and nothing like that.
No, I don't want them coming from me, but I do want to be able to talk about them and then enlighten those around me about them. So I would say that would have been a dream job.
Fair enough. Now, Vernon, for our youth that's never been outside of the state, always want to encourage the youth to learn about different parts of the world and set their long-term goals as far as like branching out. What part of the world would you love to visit one day? I'm sure you've probably been to several different countries already, but where haven't you
Me
gone?
personally, I've played in China, played in
Oh,
Germany, played in Indonesia, Madrid. I would. I've never been to Africa.
oh wow, okay.
I don't want to sound too cliche, but I've never been to Africa. So that's some place that I would like to go to and visit and go from the landscape from the top to the bottom.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, with Africa being the second largest continent and having 1,000 different languages, dialects, and ethnic groups, you have a lot to choose from. Different climates, different regions and terrains. So you got a lot to choose from on a bucket list. Then.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're currently a dean of students. I like the sound of that title. Like, what is like a day in the life of a dean of students? That sounds real powerful.
um, yeah, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. It helps me because again, I'm more in a position where I can really truly interact with the students.
Okay.
But honestly, I would say a day in the life of a dean of students is just kind of building relationships. That's the best thing I can say. It's about building relationships because I am the person who is distributing things that you've done in your behavior, if it's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Me, the biggest thing is to go around and build relationships. So I'm going around and I'm talking to kids and I'm getting to know them. So then when that time comes for me to point them in this direction or that direction, we can be able to sit down and really have a true candid conversation about what you did wrong. If you did something right, a lot of times it tends to be what you did wrong. I prefer for it to be kind of half and half.
Okay.
But if you did something wrong, how can we fix that? Why did that happen? And if you did something right, what led you to do that right? And then how can I get you to go to your classmate to help them to do what you just did so that we can all come together and we can really truly collaborate. So I would say life is really truly about building relationships.
Okay.
If you build relationships, you're not going to be able to reach the students, the teachers, the parents, anybody. So it's really truly about building relationships.
Well, Vernon, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday. I know I hit you with a lot of questions and
Oh, no,
covered
fine.
a lot of
I
topics.
truly enjoyed it. I truly enjoyed it. Yep.
Thank you, Vernon. I'm gonna upload the Youth Sports Podcast episode as usual on Instagram. It's just Heavy Brand Inc. like Incorporated, Heavy Brand Inc. And here on Facebook, we're gonna upload the episode as well. Always, feel free to share the episodes. I really hope you get a chance to see the episode tomorrow with the Mankind Academy founder. He has a powerful movement, going on the other side of the world. But thank you for being on the Heavy Brand podcast.
I've been on your page before too, so I would definitely go look that up. And I truly appreciate you inviting me to this platform and give me an opportunity to speak. And any other time that you need me in any other way, please just let me know.
Thank you, Vernon. I'm gonna give you a customary salute. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.